Alright YouTube, I'm finally back with another DIY for you guys. This is a piece of equipment that I personally look forward to test out and to train with and put it into my daily training. Perhaps you remember that in one of my previous videos I mentioned that I would make a tire flip machine. That's what I'm gonna do today. But the whole idea about a machine have evolved a little bit. In some gyms you can find a tire flip machine, usually consists of half a tire and a steel frame that pivots around a center point, and then you can flip it. But it's always a stationary piece of equipment, and I want something that has a small footprint that I can move around, that I don't have to have in the center of my gym, so I can put it in the corner. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I hope all of you are doing good out there. Despite the situation, we're looking forward to get some vaccines. So here, all stores except for grocery stores have been closed, so I haven't really been able to go and pick up wood. I've been able to order it on the internet, but I like to go and see and measure and get the straightest board and stuff like that. I haven't been able to do that, but now I'm back and I have a few projects on my mind that I'm gonna do. And I have one big project for this year that I hope that I will be able to make, simply to make a building for my home gym, and it also will be for a garage for our 2 cars and for storage room for all our firewood and garden stuff, all that. Make room for a home gym that I can use, so I can have all my equipment I've made, I can put it in there and I can make new stuff for you guys. I would like to make a pretty good power rack. The one I have is really good, but you know, with the limited space I have, I would really like to have a power rack, and there are so many other things I would like to have. I still have a lot of my gear out here in my workshop. I have my electricity just here. I have my GHD just behind this wall, and it is super cold in the winter, at least for me, even though I might look like a Viking. It's just too cold. I try to train here out for once, twice throughout the winter. It's not gonna happen. And I also have all my Atlas stones out here. And try imagine concrete stones being in, you know, just around freezing, sometimes below freezing. And yes, that's cold for me. Go grab that. Even if you try to heat it, it's just gonna contain so much cold. So I haven't been able to lift out here. I've just been inside my small training room throughout the winter. And that's okay, I can get the job done, but I still would like to have all the gear placed in one room. So hopefully that's gonna happen. I think it's realistic, and I really hope that it's gonna happen. And then after that, there's gonna be a lot of videos, because I have so many ideas for my home gym. So, but to start with, let's make this tire flipping box, tire flip simulator, whatever you want to call it. You could call it a Fritz, because it's gonna be like Fritz. Basically what it is, it's a plate loadable box. It will have space for 3 sets of plates on each side of it. What we have is a square box, space for 3 plates, like that. And the size that I'm going with is, of course, my Olympic plates, and I know they are 45 centimeters each. And then, of course, the pipe that I'll be using is the same pipe that I've used for my leg press and for my fat bar. It's going to be a 1.5 inch steel pipe. And to keep all this together, I'm going to use wooden boards. I'll be using 2x4s and 2x6. You can use whatever that is available in your hardware store, just as long as the total width of the boards combined is wider than the plates. And of course it has to have a certain strength. But I think with the 2-inch side, I think that's gonna be strong enough. And the pipes for the plates need to be in the center. I like to have an uneven number of boards, so either 3, 5, or 7. That would be a good. In my case, I'll be going with 5. Because if you're going with an even number, let's say I'll just put 4 here. If you want to drill a cylinder hole, then you're gonna cut into between 2 boards. So an uneven number is much better than you can drill the center of one board. As I said, I'll be using a mixture of 2x4s and 2x6, and the reason for that is if I was only using 2x4s, it would just be slightly larger than the plates. So what I'll be doing is the center will be 2x4 that. Part of my drawing skills. And then I'll have 2x6 on each side of that. Let's draw that over here. And this one is also then 2x4. Of course, this one is not up to scale, as you can see, and my uneven lines doesn't make it better. The 2x4 and the 2x6 that I have here is not exactly 2 and 4 and 6 inches. So as always, this is 45 by 95 millimeters, 4.5 centimeters. And over here, of course, we have 45 and then by 145 millimeters. All this combined will be 575 millimeters. And the plates are 450 millimeters. That is more than enough, but I also like to have some height of the box. When I do tire flips, I like to be able to put my chest on the tire and help that pushing it. Just around 60 centimeters, I think that's a pretty decent height. So to keep all this together, I will of course put a few screws in between, in like this. But I will also, in the end, I'll use 2x4s to keep it all together on each side, of course. All around that, there's going to be plywood. I'll be using 15 millimeter plywood. I was actually hoping for an 18 millimeter, but they didn't have that in my hardware store, so I have to take whatever they had, and it was 15 millimeters. So that's going to be on top, all the way around. And the total width of this flipping box will be just around 60 centimeters. And the reason for that is simply to maximize the use of the one sheet of plywood. So with that, I don't really have any waste. And the total length, I forgot to say that, will be around 1750, let's keep it in millimeters, to 1800 millimeters. Compare that with a tire. Yeah, it's a pretty big tire. But you also want, I also want to be able to put a whole lot of weight on it. And to prevent the box from just getting destroyed whenever it hits the ground, I'll be using the same rubber matting that I have in my home gym. I'll put that in each end, on top of it, on bottom of it, of course. And that is, I think it's 43 millimeters. You can use stall mats, but I would recommend to go to a pretty good thickness. Maybe a few layers if you use stall mats. And seen from the top, we have the center board here with the plates. We have 3 plate holders. That's the 1.5 inch piping. And then we have the boards here, as I just drawn. And to make it even stronger, I'm gonna put boards all the way out to the width of it. And the total of that will be 13 boards. So you have the one in the center and then 6 on each side. Like that. Up to 6 on each side. That will strengthen the plywood box and it's gonna add some weight. So without plates, it's also gonna have a fairly good weight. Let's start cutting some wood, drilling some holes, putting it all together. Okay, so what I have here now is the center board for the flip box. As you can see, I've drilled 3 holes, 1 for each of the pipes for the plates. Each hole is 50 millimeters, slightly larger maybe. On top of each hole, I've put a pilot hole for the screw that goes into the pipes. And if you can see, there's a hole here on both sides, and the same, there's a hole on each side of the board. I will secure each pipe with 2 screws going through the wood, and it goes through the pipe as well. That way we secure the pipe. I have not made threading inside the piping, it's just going through the pipe. Just make sure it's long enough so it goes through all the material of it, and then from each side. I'm using countersunk screws, and I've also made a countersunk in the wood. That way it goes so the head of the screw will go flush with the wood, and then stacking more wood on top. There's going to be 2 more layers of wood, as I said earlier in the video. With it being flush, you can put wood on top of it, and it will be kept in place with all the other wood. Okay, as you can see, the center part of the flip box is ready. I've mounted, as I said, the 3 pipes. They are held together with a screw that goes in from each side of this center board and goes well into the pipe. Right now I've just added 1 2x4 on each side of it. As I said, that can be a total of 13 with the width of the box, which is 60 centimeters, so I have 13 in a total. We have the center board and then 6 on each side. I'm going to add those, and of course there's going to be a whole lot of extra screws. There's only 1 in each board right now. Going to add more, but I thought, why not put a few plates on, see if I've done my measurements correct. So let's put a few Olympic plates on. Of course there's no counterweight on the other side, so I just hold it here. It fits really well, and I was also expecting roughly 5 centimeters, or that's approximately 2 inches of space in between each, and the same goes for the ends. Also enough space to get the hands in and take the plates out. So let's finish the construction. Okay, so the center frame is complete. The only thing I need to do is put plywood on top and bottom in the ends, screw together, put the rubber matting on. So let's take a closer look. 5 boards, as I said, then it's easier to make center holes. Lower one, 2x4, then we have a 2x6, 2x4 in the middle, 2x6 again, and a 2x4 on top. Each end, just put a whole lot of boards, all sandwiched together. Lots of screws going in on each board, starting from this one and just screwing in 6 on each side, 1 in center. So that makes it 13 in total. The width is around 60 centimeters. Then I have the plywood, got here. These for the ends, goes here. On top of that, put 1 of the long ones, and 1 for the bottom, and 1 for the other end. Then I'm going to use this rubber matting that I've used before. This is from a Strength Shop in Europe, and it's 43 millimeters thick. That is, I think it's around 1.5 inches. I think I will mount it this way, so this will face out away from the box, so that I can use screws down here, so that the screws don't hit the ground and make small dents and damages. I have 2 mats. I'll cut them in half here, so it's 25 centimeters by 50 centimeters. The flip box is finally complete. So I think why not put some weight on and test it out. So that was the first few flips I did with this flip box. First time loaded. I've done a few without plates on it. Holds really well. It is very brutal, that's for sure. So I really look forward to put this into my training. Today it's really chilled and raining a little bit, so I'm not gonna do a whole lot today, but it works, and it's definitely gonna hold for a lot more weight than this. So I think I'll put it into my training for the next week, and then I'll give you guys a review on it. One word about colors, because when I made my fat bar, I got a few questions on which kind of colors I was using for my fat bar, and I've always been using the Lockjaws, and this is just a standard Lockjaw that fits for a 50mm barbell sleeve. And these pipes, 1.5 inch pipe, the outside diameter is 48.3mm, so a normal Lockjaw for 50mm sleeve will be a bit loose. So for this kind of equipment, it's not gonna work. At least not the 50mm version. It's okay for my fat bar because I usually just do deadlifts. It's no big deal. It's not gonna fall off. I can just put it on. See, I can put it on, but I can move it. This is actually fairly tight, but on my fat bar, which is the same dimension, I can just slide it out. But I just picked up these really old school collars with a screw inside. They were on discount, and I think they were down to a third of the price, and probably around 5-6 euros maybe, so $6-7. And I think one of the reasons why they are so cheap is simply because there are so many different kinds of other colors on the market that are just much better. I would never use this on an expensive barbell, but on a fat bar or on this, they are just perfect for it. You can get Lockjaws that will fit for 48mm barbell. I know Rogue have a lot of them, but personally I just think they are way too expensive. So I rather pick up something really cheap, especially now that I have to have 3 pairs for this. Rogue also has other kinds of colors. They have Pro Lock, and then they have the Lockjaw and some variants of the Lockjaw that also fits for fat bars. So that's it for this time. As I said, I will probably give you a review in a week's time or so. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. There are more videos coming. Now that weather is better and stores are opening again, then I can get all the materials. And I also have more time now, so there will be more videos.